welcome to Wendy's Colouring and my end of the month video for September, if I can remember what month it is. Yeah, it's been a busy month, got a few done, never as many as I'd like, but yeah, got some done, enjoyed the ones I've got done, and that's the most important thing for me really. Particularly back to school month, obviously quite stressful, very stressful if I'm honest. But yeah, got some done and I'll show them. So obviously first one this month that you will have seen already is this one from obviously R.J. Hansen, Lost and Found. So my little rabbit, magician rabbit. I haven't done a background. If you watched my colour along for this, yes, I did get it everywhere. Looks all over the page because I'm clumsy. So this is in Sakura Koopy pencils. Bit unusual, I know. You get a better view of them if you want to have a look. What are those? Have a look at the video, even if only briefly. You can see what they look like and what they are. I've not used them a huge amount. I think I've done one thing with them before, but again, I think I only used them for backgrounds last time. And I did quite like using them. I've only got a small 10, 12, I think it's 12 set. So colours were very, very limited on this. I did sneak in some Neo ones to help. So I think I used 2 greys out of my Neo ones and a white. I did steal the white as well out of it because I was struggling without a white. But everything else was in that little 12 set, so quite a limited, for me, quite a limited colour palette. I do like 300 pencils normally. But yeah, I still quite like it. It's quite cute, and obviously this is quite a small drawing for R.J. Hansen. But so yeah, it's quite a good little drawing to try and test them out on, and I did quite enjoy working on this. Went quite quickly with the Koopy pencils. They're quite nice on the Amazon paper. I think they do like a little bit of texture. Other things that are on here were my usual Lightwish acrylic pens. I think it was the little 24 pens, 48 colour set. I think I did use a Tulia, probably the yellow. Posca pen for some highlights, and a Deco Gel by Karen, the Star Sparks, that I can never say is the little glittery bits and pieces that are on it. I think it's mainly in the stars from memory, yeah. Stars and the buttons on his little jacket. I think that was the only little bit that I used a little bit metallic pen on. But yeah, it was quite a nice little practice with those. I quite enjoyed it, and obviously it's just a little one. I think it does need the background doing. I've literally got bits of wax all over it, but you know, these things happen, don't they, when they're doing colouring. For now I'm living it with it. I just haven't had time to come back to it and do a background on it. But yeah, I did really enjoy working on it. And yeah, I'm tempted to get some more of those. And then my other page this month in here, spot the obvious mistake, because I'm an idiot, is the With All My Heart. So the Tin Man, is it Toto? I've never watched The Wizard of Oz. I don't know. But yeah, I got so carried away doing this. As you will notice, I've done him the wrong colour, because tin is not gold colour, is it, Wendy? But yeah, I wanted to do him gold, so I did. I did think about it before, and then I got carried away actually doing it, and then I think I did his part of his head, and I was like, that's the wrong colour, why have you just done that? But I quite like him in gold, so instead of rubbing it out, I just did him all in gold. I don't care, it's my book, I wanted him gold. This was in my Claws, Claw 320s. Yeah, I quite like them on the Amazon paper. I like the colour palette that's in them. I think they work pretty good on this paper. And you can overlay them for the little texture in the dog and things like that. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Other things, Lightwish acrylic pens, as per, again, I think it's still that little 24 pens, 48 coloured pack, just because I like the nibs on them. Again, yellow, I'm tending to use my Tulia Art ones. I think I did take a little bit out on the Emerald Castle, a little bit of the line work, because the line work was quite dark in it, and I just wanted that to be knocked back a little bit. Posca pen white, and again, Deco Gel Karen gel pens, the Star Sparks. Can't remember where I've used them. I think it's just in the little keys and little bits like that in the border. Not so much Star Sparks, it's very, very slight. Just a little bit in the key, I think, and places like that. I think there's another key somewhere and I can't remember where it is now. Oh yeah, there's another one up there, but I thought there was one in the picture. I can't see it now. Now I'm looking, but yeah, another fairly quick one. And like I say, mainly just in the Karen pencils. That's all. Not really anything too exciting. I think I did use the acrylic paint pens for this border, and then I did work over with the pencils a little bit here and there, because I just wanted the border to be a bit darker, so he was kind of inside the frame a bit more. But yeah, really liking this book. Obviously this is just the cheapo softback cover version. I'm umming and ahhing about whether to order this one in a hardback, because I do like quite a lot of the images in this book, as per usual. Obviously there's some of my favourites. But yeah, there's a few pages that I think, yeah, I definitely want to do that one, I want to do that one. There's quite a few, so yeah, umming and ahhing whether to go for the hardback one of this one. But yeah, that's my other one this month out of that book. So I've got 2 done in R.J. Hampson's Lost and Found this month. Then I had this one as a whip. If I can get hold of my page, there we are. This one as a whip, so it was this image that I'd started, and I'd done just the trees. They have 2 copies in this book, which is why that one's not done. But yeah, I finished painting that one this month. So she is completely in Holbein watercolours. I got the little tubes and I've just decanted them into half pans, I think I've got them in, and so I have them in a tin in half pans, and most of it is in the Holbein watercolours. I just cheated a little bit for a few of the detail, or the little small spaces. So I think the little gnomes hats were in my Caran d'Ache super colour softs. Haven't got many, I've got about 18 of them I think, but yeah, just picked a few of those up just to finish off little bits here and there, like some of the reflection in her eyeglasses, a little bag I think I did with the super softs, and the little mushrooms and some of these little circles down here were in the super softs, but not very much at all really. I think that was pretty much it really, just a bag, a little bit of shadow on her hat, the hats, the mushrooms and these little berries. Oh, and these little leaves, I did do these just because I wanted them a different colour, and that little set of leaves as well. Oh, and that little set of leaves, just tiny little details really, where I felt I can't get the look that I want really with the paint. But most of it, yeah, most of it I've done just with the brush. And then as you can see on the bottom in the sign, I've used some more of Renaissance Colours paint just for this sign. It's out of her newest set, I think they're called Chrome Pop. Her newest set, I'll show them in my next haul, but I've already been using them as you can see. And this colour's called Rio, but yeah, it's out of her latest Chrome set. If you're watching her and want to see what they're like, yeah, I'm liking them obviously because it's Renaissance Colours, how can you not? But yeah, I'm reasonably happy. Even did the little, well, he's not a unicorn because he's got no horn, but this horse with wings, I'm sure somebody's going to be shouting at me now. Is it a Pegasus? I don't know. I'm not very well up on these kind of myth things. Whatever this horse is with wings, I did him with paint. I just did his tail with the pencils, but his wings I painted as well, so yeah, overall I'm fairly pleased with it. It's not, this book has, clearly I've shut it when some of it was still wet. So, it's not quite as subtle as the original, and obviously I did this in a different colour. I just wanted it to be with the greens that I had, plus I wanted to use that paint, let's be honest. Any excuse to get the paint out. I have done a few bits different. I think the tail was like green and white stripes on this one, and I was like, no, it's not going to be green and white stripes, I don't like it. But I've kind of kept her clothes pretty much the same. Mushrooms I've done pretty much the same. This little bunny, I've added a bit more shading to him on mine. He's just completely white with little cheeks on that version. And I've kind of changed about the leaf colours. You know, I've done it a little bit lighter rather than dark here. One, two bits like that. Obviously the main difference is I've done the greenery a lot more vivid. And maybe this background bit is a little darker on mine, I think. But yeah, overall I'm pretty pleased with it. And this is such a beautiful book. It was just a pleasure to actually work in it. Have I got what it's called? Illustration Colouring Book of the Star World, written by this person. I have no idea where you'd get this from now. I'm guessing it would have to be an Etsy job. Maybe Colourcraft Books might have it, but there's the ISBN if it's any help. I obviously got mine from Book Depository, when it was much easier to get hold of some of these Korean books. But yeah, it is a beautiful book, and paper in it is lovely. I've not been worrying too much about how much water I got on the page. I was just could concentrate on what I was doing, and yeah, I can just get straight into it. But yeah, it's a lovely book. Hoping I'll do a bit more in it now. I've braved my first page, and it is nice that, you know, if you particularly something like watercolour that I'm not the most confident with, that if you really did make a mess of it, you have got another version to try. I think the idea is you do one and you cut it out and give it someone, or frame it, and you do one and you keep it in the book. I think that's possibly the idea. But yeah, it's a beautiful book. Very pleased I finally got one done in it. Hurrah! This one, anyway. Then, another book that I had not worked in at all previously. I've got a lot of these, not got all of them. I think the Cinderella one is pretty much, yeah, impossible to find now. But The Adventures of Pinocchio by Fabiana Attanasio. Had this a while, not worked in it. Don't know why, think they're lovely. I've not worked in many of these actually that I've got. And considering it's, you know, it's supposed to be a kid's book, the paper in it is, you know, pretty good really. And it'll take quite a bit of media. It's not lying flat, as you can probably just about tell. But yeah, I have really enjoyed working on this little page. It's just fun. The bird was a bit patterned for me, but I kind of just went with it. I just played about with a little bit of gold on it to make it a bit more interesting. So this is a mixture of stuff. I think I did, first of all, because I wasn't sure how this paper was going to be with watercolour, and it has gone, as you can probably just about hear, a little bit crinkly, and it is a little bit, it's not as easy to see really, but it's not too bad if I want to work on this kind of page on the back. It's a little bit crinkly, and I'm getting quite a bit of black print from where I've been pressing on this side, obviously working on his face. But overall, the paper's taking it quite nice. But I did cover the blue section of the page first with one of my Lightwish acrylic paint pens. So these ones, I'm gonna reach one. And just about one of these ones, literally, because they've got obviously not in this colour, but they've got reasonably big brushes, so I did kind of just literally colour in the blue page first of all, really just as a base to seal the background a little bit, because I knew then I wanted to work over with some watercolours in this background. So the background has some of my Supervision watercolours on it. Did I use any others? I was just using a few of those. I think I was just using 3 different ones of the watercolour Supervision. They seem to be, sadly, impossible to get hold of at the moment, the Supervision watercolours. They're kind of like a watercolour paint with mica in it, so they kind of behave a bit like a granulating paint, but not quite, because it's the mica that's moving, not other kind of pigments. But yeah, I quite like how they just give a bit of a subtle sheen, so they're not kind of in your face glitter. Like, you know, I do like a bit of glitter and mica, let's be honest. But this, didn't want a glittery sky, because that's a bit much, isn't it? But it gives it a nice bit of sheen and reflection, and that was more what I was looking for. The pencil colour work is the 180 Cheapest Chips Black Barrel Brute Funas. I'm quite enjoying those. Colour palette's quite nice in them. They're quite samey. that is my ongoing criticism of them. I think they could make a really nice set of those pencils with a better colour selection. If I think about some of the colour selections that are in my Color, clearly they're made in the same factory, they must have the pigments. They could make a nice set of those. I'm using them also with my 72 Color macaroons, just for some of these kind of super light sections where I want to highlight, and I will always use a good quality artist quality white pencil. Normally I use my luminance, running out as you can see, but I do also have on my desk quite often these two as well, Derwent Drawing White, can't really be beaten, and Holbein White as well. Use those quite a bit as well, but I think mainly I've just used the luminance on this particular one. Other things, Artex paint pens, yeah, just because there's a lot of line work in this bird. He was quite zen doodly, so just to take the odd line out, I have been using some of those. The gold is some Signo sparkling gel pens. If you want a glittering, like a glittery gel pen, it is one of my favourite ones. I'll be gutted when they stop making them. Posca white pens, obviously. But yeah, all the glitter is my little Signo glitter pen. I think I did do a couple of layers on it to get the kind of sparkle that's going on these pages. But yeah, I did enjoy doing this page. Even though it's a double, and generally when I'm back at work, I don't often tackle a double. I think because a lot of it was just background, and I kind of felt comfortable with what I was doing with the background. I thought actually the bird's not that complicated either. I should be able to get it finished. But yeah, I'm quite pleased. Got my first one finished in my Pinocchio book. Let's put his label back in. But yeah, Adventures of Pinocchio by Fabiana Atanasio. It's pretty well still available, this book. And there's some quite nice pages in it. I want to do some more in this book, definitely. But yeah, it was a fun colour. Quite enjoyed it this month, that one. Then I had a buddy with Colouring with Amy on Instagram. She picked this particular page. Let me get rid of my labels, then I know what I'm talking about, because mine like a sieve. So Amy's is, I'm going to keep that still, I'm going to put Amy's on first. So Amy's lovely page is here. We've done quite different colour schemes, really. I was really interested to see hers. But yeah, pop over to her Instagram if you want to have a better look at hers as well. But I shall pop it in anyway. But yeah, I took my label out and not got hold of the page. I did this with mine. I've also got bits of the tree outside that keeps blowing into my room all over my book. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of background on here, and I totally did not know what to do with it. I quite enjoyed the little fish on here, though. I really did. I did this page mainly in Derwent Inktense. I don't use my Inktense as much as I should use my Inktense, I think is the answer to that. But yeah, for this page I thought this is ideal for these little fish and a little bit of background, and I thought I'm curious to see how well it takes a bit of Inktense. And it did look when I was working like, oh, it's going to come through a little bit there, and there's a little bit of markage, but this is clearly going to be another C page anyway, so I think I'll get away with it in this book anyway. Paper, it's a Japanese book, so you know, it's pretty good quality. But yeah, Inktense, I did sneak in a couple of Neo 2s for the sky, because I was not doing all that in Inktense because it's quite a big space. So I think I was using the blue and a white out of my Inktense, and a little bit of the Holbein White Holbein White watercolour paint, just for the white kind of cloudy look that I've got in there as well. Pens, I was using those pens that I've literally just shown, Gumna acrylic paint pens. I've probably pronounced that wrong. It's them. Literally, the trays living on my shelf behind, these ones. Again, there's a video about them on the channel if you want to have a better look. Use those quite a bit for the edges of the fish and the edges of my bear and around the ring and some of the leaves and bits and pieces like that. Posca White for the highlights. again. Star Sparks gel pens by Karen is the silver on here. I totally wasn't sure what these were that are on here, because I was like, oh, it's polar bear, it must be ice. It must be icy. But then I'm like, he's got his rubber ring and his shorts on, so maybe it's not icy. But I did them like they were like icy things. I've done them silver. But I'm still like, even when I look at them now, I'm like, yeah, but what are they? Doesn't matter, does it? It's a colouring page. Relax. But yeah, so yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's not a page I would have probably picked myself. And this book, I and ah about this book, about whether it's for me or not really. I like the images, but they are a bit odd in this book. I do look at them and think, what are they thinking when they drew this? There's some nutty pages in this book. It's quite a strange illustration style. I kind of like it, and when I've worked on one I think, oh yeah, I get it now, yeah, no, I do like it. And I do like this one that I've done, but I probably wouldn't have picked, like I say, it's not the first book that jumps out of me on the shelf, this book, but I'm glad I've worked in it, so thank you very much, Amy, making me do another page in it. I think I did the other one with Kay that was in here. It was a Halloween one, so it must have been nearly a year ago. But yeah, another page in Fantasy Season by, have I written it in? Yukari Odi. Probably said that wrong. Again, I would imagine Etsy or Colourcraft Books or someone like that is probably your only go-to to get this now. ISBN's there if you are interested. It might be on Amazon Japan, because this is Japanese or Korean. It's Japanese, isn't it? So yeah, you'll probably get it on Japanese Amazon if you want that particular book. Then a book I never work in, absolutely never work in. I don't know why. I never touch these books very often, but Lulu Mayo, I buy these and I think, oh, aren't these lovely books? They really are lovely books. They're cute, they're funny, and I think I've got 4, maybe 5, but as you know if you watch me, I never colour them. I don't colour them, so I've picked 2 out this month in my colouring plans, and I thought, no, I'm definitely going to do 1 in 1, and I've picked the Mermaids, which is surprising for me, and I've done this page this month, and it did take me quite a while, I cannot lie. I was very worried about this paper, as a few people know that I've been chatting to in comments and various different people. I like doing a lot of metallic paints when I've got a watery background, because I just enjoy it. I could do it in normal paint, could do it in pencil, but I like it when it sparkles and glitters like this, because it makes me happy. And what the reason is there. But I thought, this paper is not known for loving a bit of watercolour. I think Kay did say to me it pills a little bit if you go mad. So I did, like I just said about the other page, I literally went over with my acrylic marker pen all over the blue background first, and it looked awful. I'll be honest. I think my husband did come in while I'd done that, and then I was working on some of these other bits and pieces, and he was like, you're not leaving that background like that, are you? Yeah, I'm leaving it like that. It was all like streaky lines. No, I'm not leaving it like that. But as you can see, I've put a lot, and I mean a lot of layers of metallic paint on this. So this book has been pretty wet. It's fine. It's not even making the crinkly noise. Completely fine. So yeah, whenever I want to use a lot of metallic paint, oh, possibly the other paint as well, but you'll probably see through normal watercolour paint to my streaky acrylic background. I'm probably going to keep doing that with those pens. I'm probably going to use them up like that, but you know, they're serving their purpose, aren't they? They're useful to me, and because it's in a pen, it's much easier to get in than faffing about with a brush and trying to do it that way. So it did really seal the paper really nicely, so I could really play about with the metallics on this page. Colour work is... where have I put my little list? It's just fallen off. I was nearly saying Intense, and I was like, no, it's not. I didn't do this page in Intense. Colour work is Luminance and Holbein. It's mainly Holbein, if I'm honest. When I want a bright page, I do always go for my Holbeins, because the pigment in them is beautifully strong. This is quite a smooth paper, but they seem okay on it. Normally they do like a little bit more texture. Luminance, I've probably just, like, one of these purples looks like it's a bit of a luminance, so just for odd colours that I know I want slight, like this looks like it might be luminance as well, slight darker tones in, but in the main all the bright stuff will be my luminance. Skin tone will probably be luminance as well, because I always go for skin with luminance, because I know it'll layer nice and I can change and move it about a bit if I need to. Watercolour paints, as you can imagine, I've used quite a bit. I've used a bit of my own. Normally I try and do a kind of base in my own watercolour paint, so more up this side at the top where it's kind of just a bit more like pearly paint. That will probably be my own, because it's cheaper to put a base of the ones I've made myself. But then the proper super sparkle is the more expensive stuff, so I've used quite a lot of the Renaissance chrome pot pack that I've got this month. So all these little glittery bulbs are all in that particular pack, the chrome paints. Some of the blue in the background is also some of the Renaissance. I think it's the deep blue that's the Renaissance one. But I've also used some of the Art Spirits watercolour, so the little mermaids have a bit of glitter in their hair. If you can just about see, that's definitely the Renaissance. And I think I was using one of the Renaissance blues as well. I think it's like a tealy colour that's down here. So it is a mix of quite a few different Etsy watercolour paints that I love, let's be honest, that I have just layered and layered to kind of build these effects up in the background, really. But it's very blingy. It is not a subtle page. I do like a bit of glitter on my page. But yeah, as you can see, I've quite enjoyed working on this page, surprisingly. And yeah, a double in Lulu Mayo. Never done a double in Lulu Mayo. I'm not even sure I've finished many singles in Lulu Mayo. But yeah, I always enjoy a merry-go-round. I have no idea why. Clearly a childhood thing. I do like bright colour, and this gave me lots of chances to play with glittery things, so you can't not be happy with with all of that, can you? But yeah, my first page in A Million Mermaids Magical Creatures of Colour by Lulu Mayo. And yeah, will I do another one? Hopefully, when I feel like doing another sparkly sea background. Then, what else have I done this month? I've also worked a page in Little Secrets from My Fairy House by Clara Markova. I've not worked in this book for, I think, a good 6 months now. This is a beautiful book. I am very lucky to have a really nice selection of books. I can't complain at all, but I've done this one this month. Can I get my label off? No, I cannot. I couldn't decide whether this was a stork or a flamingo, but now it's a flamingo. I think it was always a flamingo, but you know, when you're just looking at the drawing, sometimes you've not seen one of them for a while, you're never quite totally sure. Equally, wasn't sure about the fruits. I think when I've seen other people do this, they've done them kind of plum coloured, but I didn't want plum up there, even though it probably would go with the pink of the flamingo. But yeah, I kind of went oranges and yellows, more like they were nectarines or peaches or something, because yeah, that's what I wanted, so I could keep the kind of pink tones down here and more orangey tones up there. So this is, again, mainly Holbein with some added luminance. I think the castle looks like luminance to me, and I think the roofs had a bit of luminance in as well. I think most other bits and pieces were Holbein. I did enjoy working on a dress, I can't lie. I do not enjoy doing the feathers. I'm kind of living with the feathers. They're okay. But yeah, I probably could have done a bit more work on the feathers, but I get feather bored. I could spend all day doing bits of fabric like this, but feathers, I'm over them. That'll do. There's a fair bit of watercolour. So the water was my Sminky super granulation watercolour paints. As you can see, there's blue and there's green. I did also, because it has a little bit of shimmer in here and there in the water, sneak in another little bit of the Supervision watercolour paints that, like I say, sadly I can't see them anywhere. Amazon, I got mine from Amazon UK, and They were in stock for a few months when I got them, but they seem to have vanished now. I did see them on Ali, but now when I look myself on Ali, I can only see some dodgy looking sets, which I suspect are not Supervision paints. So whether they've stopped making them, I'm honestly not sure. But it's a bit sad because I do like using them a lot. They are very effective. Metallic watercolours, again, there's quite a bit on here. Renaissance, as per, I think this gold in the background was a Renaissance watercolour. But I did use... oh yeah, that was a Renaissance. Her wings were a Renaissance as well. It's one of the Advent white colours. I think there's about 4 of them that are very similar. That has I've coloured her wings, and then I've used the watercolour over the top to kind of give it a bit of dimension over the top. The usual Lightwish acrylic paints, some Posca pen, be white, and my Signo glittering gold in the like lollipop bits and pieces, a little bit in her crown, I think, not a huge amount, just in the little gems in the crown. There's some of my Signo glittering pens as well. So yeah, another glittery page. I've definitely had a watercolour glittery page month, I think it's with it going dark. I think it depresses me, and I'm thinking, oh, I just want some glitter to cheer myself up. Dark nights. Ugh. I don't enjoy dark nights. I don't enjoy going to work in the dark in the morning, and I don't enjoy coming back and then 10 minutes later it feels like it's dark, doesn't it? You feel like you've seen no day. All you've done is slave at work all day. But I did enjoy my glitter in my Clara Markova. And yeah, that's pretty much it from Little Secrets from My Fairy House by Clara Markova. And then my last one this month, I wasn't sure I'd get to, but bizarrely I did somehow. Goodness knows how I've managed it. But I've done another in Kuliyar's Flower Mandalas. I love this book when you want to relax. It's just, yeah, a really peaceful book to work in, and I don't have to worry about it too much. It just kind of, not does itself, but you know what I mean? You could just kind of colour away, kind of watching something in the background, and yeah, it just kind of starts to form without you really trying to think about it. I've clearly had a Holbein month, because this was also Holbeins, again, because it's colourful. I do like my Holbeins when I know I want to use a bit of colour into it. They're just, yeah, and they always blend so nicely into each other, and you can layer them onto each other. So all the flower, all the leaf work, these little kind of tendrily bits and pieces, they were all in Holbein. Then I did a background with my Spectrum Noir tri-brush pens. So I think I did like a pinky colour on here and a little very soft purpley colour inside the heart. And then I worked over just with a little bit of Prisma here and there, just to add a little bit of shadow inside and outside the heart, so it wasn't just completely flat background. I quite often do an acrylic background on pages like this, but there's lots of these dots that are actually drawn in. I've not added them, and I thought, there's no way I'm either going to paint them all out or have to go around them. And I thought, I'm not going to go around them, and I don't really want to paint them out. They kind of feel like they're part of the drawing. So yeah, hence why I used an alcohol marker. Obviously hardly goes through on Kuliyar. It does go through, but it's not, I've not needed to put anything underneath it. It's not properly through. What else have I used? Obviously the heart is back to my Renaissance paints. This was out of the Christmas Advent colours from last year, I think. I think this is bright, so it's kind of pink in one direction, and then it's hard to show you on camera because obviously your light is only on one direction, but from my angle when I'm sat looking at it from here, it's kind of quite orangey looking. So it's very much a two-tone paint, but I think you can only see the pink on the camera. Sadly, you don't seem to be able to see the orange tone, but yeah, it's totally orange when I'm looking at it. But when I look at my feed, I can see it's just pink for you. But beautiful paint. What else? Bit of Signo Sparkling Silver is the dots on this page. So all these dots are just my Signo Sparkling. Posca White. And is that it? Background Princess Husbands. Yeah, I think that's it. So, just going to knock a zillion things all over my desk trying to pick this book up. That is the only downside of these books, because the spiral bound at the top, I knock everything in front of my monitor off every time I show it. But yeah, another nice relaxing page. I think that's my third one in this one now. So yeah, getting some done in this one. Oh, gonna knock everything, including the mic. Sorry if that's made a noise. But yeah, that was my last one this month. My flower mandalas from Colour. I think I got, surprisingly for me, got 8 done this month, which, considering I was busy back at school, don't even know how I found the time to do it. I think it's just my mental sanity later. Calm down, colour something. So I get more done, maybe, because I need to get more done. Who knows? Anyway, I have enjoyed this month's colouring. Really enjoyed it this month. I suppose I have used a lot of watercolours and sparkly things to cheer myself up from the drudgery that is work. But yeah, that's everything this month. Hopefully it was something you liked. Let me know which ones were your favourite. I think, surprisingly, I'm going to go Lulu Mayo page. I think was my favourite this month. I don't think it was my favourite when I was working on it, bizarrely. I think I was working on it, I was a bit like, oh, this is taking ages. But now I'm looking at them finished, and I've had a bit of distance because I did that earlier on in the month. I think, yeah, I really like how that looks. But at the time, it was driving me a bit mad. I enjoyed doing this one. Yeah. I think, isn't that funny? Sometimes you like the look of something, but you didn't actually enjoy the process quite as much as the doing of it. Bizarre. Discuss. I'm just waffling now, sorry. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed watching some of it. Bye bye.